Yo, 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 yo! What's going on? Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that other good shit. Yo, this video is, let's just get to it. We're going to talk about Victor dog food. And I'm not selling, I'm not a sponsor, but this question came in. And it was a lot of hoopla that was going on about Victor dog food. And I guess the main situation was the blood meal situation. Now I'm going to tell you this. I did my research. I actually feed Victor, so I was interested. And sometimes, let me start by saying this. I think we have to be careful what we hear out there. Let's just be realistic. I think we have to be very careful what we hear out there. And the reason I'm saying this is this. You know, the dog food industry, the pet industry is a very, very tough industry. And sometimes things are floated out there to try to discredit another food company or another pet supply company or whatever the case may be. And I think this might be the case. I did a lot of research from many different sources on on the blood meal and foods, and one of my good friends, Tito, sent me some information also. Well, he sent me the initial information and I studied more on it, and it was absolutely correct. Blood meal is not a horrible thing for your dogs, you know. It really isn't. You know, it's low ash, it's low fat, high protein, you know, amino acids. You know, it does meet the calcium requirements also. And, you know, it goes along with the feeding of more of a natural diet. And most people who I've seen on this, and even the medical opinions on blood meal in the dog food, see absolutely no problem with it. It seems to be that more recently people came up with this whole blood meal thing to sort of, you know, discredit maybe not only Victor dog food, but other dog foods that use it. I'm going to be personally honest. Like I say, I am not sponsored by Victor. I am not a spokesman of Victor. I just buy their products. For those who were scared, and y'all know that, and people ask me this, so I tell you that's what I feed. But for people who were scared by Victor's, the rumors about Victor's dog food, I have over 20 dogs. Or something like that. I cut down, so I might be under 20 now. But none of my dogs have ever had an allergic reaction. None of my dogs have ever had a stool problem. None of my dogs have ever had any of the problems that you would see come from a dog food. And more so, they are bigger than they were before they started using Victor 18 months ago. And they are very, very healthy. I'm not seeing any problems, very clear eyes. The dogs look good. It's just nothing. Now, they say that the ingredients have changed or whatever. I'm still continuing to use this food, and I see no change in my dogs. And that's why I took, you know, I'm just giving y'all my honest, you know, opinion and my experience with this, is that I do believe that the blood meal products are safe. You know, the research I've done, and I went to literally, I think, a dozen sources, either 11 or 12 sources, and all of the sources came back the same. There's no real rock solid evidence that there's anything wrong with the blood meal in the dog foods. And really, to be honest, it's quite the contrary by most of the specialists and what they say. You know, sometimes we get into a habit of taking one rumor or one person's opinion as the gospel, and we find a way to totally annihilate, totally annihilate, you know, good products and sometimes good people based on one person's word. But I mean, if you have a different experience, that's, you know, something that you should look into and make sure that it's the food and not just blame the food. But from my experience and from my studies, I tell you, there's nothing wrong with the blood meal and the food. It actually seems to be a very positive thing. And my dogs absolutely love the food. They destroy it. And like I say, no loose stools. Everybody is heavier. Y'all see some newer pictures that I posted of Mandela. He's actually looking better now than he ever has. And, you know, and I will attribute it to this dog food. So, you know, as I've always said with every dog food, do your research. And every dog doesn't work the same on every dog food. So, you know, so you might need to change which brand, not necessarily the brand, but which bag you're feeding inside that brand, or you maybe even need to go with a whole other brand. But as far as Victor goes, I'm telling you, it does good by me, and hopefully those who have been using it with good success aren't scared off by it, because I say stick with what works. Until next time, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.